Welcome back, everyone, to the 50 something Dasher YouTube channel. And this is part 4 of my 5-part series on surviving stressful situations with regards to DoorDash driving. In part 4 of the series, I'm going to deal with something that, can be stressful at times, and that's heavy traffic. Ugh. I'm in a market where, like, fortunately, and the days of the week that I dash on and the times that I dash, and I've been, fairly lucky. I don't run into a whole lot of like traffic concerns, knock on wood. But even still, I wanted to, just give like a little bit of advice here, or kind of things to think about, and and these types of things with regards to traffic. um the biggest thing is kind of like understanding your zone and knowing like which streets and areas are typically heavy traffic at certain times. Okay, so for example, I now with recently my schedule changed at my W2 less than 2 months ago, and now my dash days are now Saturday, Sunday, and Mondays. Okay, so as far as in my zone, like, because I usually dash in the mornings, and what can kind of hurt me sometimes is school traffic. And so now I just, Mondays is primarily the only weekday that I dash on now. So I know that around that 8 a.m., like, 8 a.m. to 8:20, something like that in the morning, there's, the road that runs by the high school. I know to stay away from that. And if, I'm going to have to take an alternate route if I have to go to a pickup or delivery that where I would normally drive through there, I know to avoid it. Same thing with, a couple like around between 7 and 9 in the morning, certain streets in my zone for rush traffic. Again, that's just on Monday. Uh, and then another thing I would suggest with that is during, like, especially like on weekdays. Another thing I would recommend as far as traffic goes is especially like the rush traffic times in the morning and evening or late afternoon rush traffic, 4 to 5 p.m. I would recommend turning on the local radio. I try to, on Mondays, I try to always do that. I try to have a local radio station on from around 7 to 8:30 a.m., something like that. Even if I don't want to listen to the music at that particular time, I still want to have it on at those times, to it, just in case there's any like accident reports and around, either in my zone or areas that I drive to. And if I hear about different accidents in certain areas, then I'll know not to take orders where I'm going to have to drive through there. And say, I don't know, let's just say from where I'm at going to downtown Columbus, if I hear on the radio there's some big, 10 car pileup on that route, then I just, for the next like hour and a half, 2 hours anyway, I just, any order that I see that's going to be going in that direction, I'll just decline it. That's happened to me a couple times. If now, at times where you're on a delivery, let's say you Another thing I want to talk about, let's say you pick up an order or shop an order, you're on your way to the customer and you run into some heavy traffic, or some kind of accident, or, where it's going to take longer than normal to get to the customer. A big thing here is communication with the customer. So you want to, I've been fortunate. I haven't ran into this situation too many times. Also, another example, I should mention a detour. Let's say you're just following GPS and has you turn on a certain road, but the road's closed and GPS isn't updated. And then, I've had that happen before, once or twice, but communication with the customer is key. That as soon as you know that you're going to be delayed, let them know. That way they're not, looking at their app on their phone and what is this driver doing? Why isn't the car moving on my screen? What's taking him so long? You want to keep that communication. It's very important. Another thing I want to mention is, let's say you're not on an order and let's say you did a drop off somewhere and you're trying to come back to your zone or wherever you're trying to get to wait for your next order. If you run into a situation, and I just had this happen here a few days ago on my Super Bowl dash. I dropped off an order out of zone. I was trying to make my way back and got stopped by a train and had to wait for that for a few minutes. One thing I would suggest in those situations is that's a very good time to use your pause on your dash. So I came up to that stop traffic at the railroad tracks. I was sitting there, boom, immediately started my pause. And I waited till not only the train went by and I got past the tracks, and then I waited until I got I got onto the interstate, got off the exit into my zone, and I was ready for my order, then I resumed the dash. Because you don't want to, I would not recommend, leaving your app open and let's use the stay with the train track, example. I just would not recommend sitting there and, accepting an order, and maybe it's going to take another 15 minutes for the train to go by, and the system is going to wonder, well, why aren't you moving? Why aren't you getting to this pickup location to pick up this order? So I just, in those situations, I always do the pause. But anyway, that's the video here. That's all I have for part 4. Hope this helps, with regard, some of these things that I do with regards to, traffic concerns. As always, be sure to drive safe out there, and thanks for watching this video. And one more episode to go, part 5. We'll see you then. Take care, everyone.